Next, would like to hear comments from Mr. Peter Gray, President of AJBCC, regarding today's forum. Mr. Gray, please step forward and make a speech.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Nikkei. I just perch on here. I'm not quite sure what my role here is actually, because I haven't got time to make a speech. But firstly, thank you to Nikkei, and it's wonderful. It is a wonderful organisation, and I was always grateful that it was you who actually purchased the Financial Times. There were some other bidders around, I think, at that sort of time, which probably would not have worked quite as well. So thank you very much. But in fact, those two newspapers. Organisations, well, I shouldn't say this, might be locals here, but you can probably cover 90% of the news you need. So it's great to actually have you here and very active in Australia. I'll just make a few general comments, I think. I think in terms of the conference itself is symbolic of some of the changes and the discussions, and I missed, some of the discussions in the middle, in that we started with a discussion on innovation and technology. I think if you went back 10 years ago, you would not have had a Japan-Australia forum of any form which started with innovation and technology. That's a sign of the quite fundamental changes which have taken place in the Australia-Japan relationship. And it's not necessarily very well understood, I don't think, even in the broader Australian business community, certainly not in the form of in terms of the Australian population. And I thought it was interesting that last discussion, which I caught up the last part of it, where a colleague from MFG talked about the changing employment practices or recruitment practices with half of middle level, half of all new employees coming in at the middle level career rather than just as graduates. That's I think would have been a stunningly revolutionary idea 20 years ago, let alone or even 10 years ago. So Japan does change, and the relationship is really changing very rapidly. We have a lot of these conferences. A lot of them focus on energy, on renewables, which are all very important. But it's good that you've actually focused on some other areas. I think I'll just spend 2 minutes at the end with a bit of a commercial, because I've got the CEO of AJBCC here, and so I should do that. I think we had a great conference. I'm not sure whether you are all members of the AJBCC or the JABCC, but I hope you will be if you're not, because we have actually developed a program now which has points of interest in many areas. We have various working groups, advisory groups, as well as a conference, as well as boardroom lunches and dinners, and they're always well attended. I think our membership is up now 140, 150. Yeah, that sort of number, which is very large for a business organisation, and it's very, very focused on getting business results. The other, and also, we had a very successful conference in Melbourne last year. We had more than 600 people, which again is some sort of record for us. We're all looking forward to the JABCC hosting us up in Nagoya. As I said, thank you very much for coming down to Sydney today. Again, I think the nature of the conference will be different to the traditional Australia-Japan business conference. I'm old enough, I can still remember you spent the first morning talking about iron and steel prices, and the second part of the afternoon talking about iron and steel prices. If you think things don't change very rapidly, well, they might not change rapidly, but they certainly change. And that's all for the good. I think the one area, and maybe you're going to go into this afternoon, but if you talk about any bilateral relationship now with Japan or with the United States, you can't escape talking about geopolitics. And that's the area, as Jan Adams, who is a wonderful Secretary of DFAT and former ambassador to Japan and to China, will point out, is the geopolitics are defining everything at this point in time. But we don't want to become obsessed by it. You have to still talk about the nitty-gritty of other issues. But the geopolitics are huge, and the changes which are going on are huge. And I think Australia is very well placed, along with Japan, to navigate those sort of changes. The relationship with the United States has suddenly become much more important again. Japan, US, Australia, US, that triangular relationship I think is extremely important, and it's the back of just about everything that governments are doing at this point in time in both Japan and Australia and in the United States. So it's an exciting time to be involved in the relationship, including in the region, and lots of new ideas out there. So it's great to be here, and I look forward to actually the next part of the discussion when we listen to the Nikkei editors and writers talk on this subject. So thank you once again for having me here, and please come to Nagoya, and Rich and Andrews will arrange for you. Thank you very much.